Hello, friends. This is Chandrakant from Akulmach, and I'm very honored to have Mr. Naval Gund on our show today. Naval is chairman of Mindfit Limited UK, and we have tied up with him to bring the world best leadership program. And today he will tell us about how to come up in life while working under pressure. So, Naval, welcome to the show.
Good morning, CK. Good morning, everybody. And we've all had pressure on us at one time of our life. Students have pressure all the time. Students are under pressure at the moment because most are working from home. They're not seeing their teachers on a regular basis. It's all digital. They may be in a household where there are two or three young people around them and they all want to use that PC at the same time because we're not all inundated with a PC per person, especially in large families. So the pressure's on, the pressure's always on. So, working under pressure, CK, have you ever worked under pressure?
Well, I got used to this pressure, Neville, maybe, but I think there could be more pressure on me. I'm not having so much pressure.
Well, I think the interesting thing is, and a lot of people are now going to say, I don't believe that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what people will say when I say the next thing. You actually create your own pressure. You put yourself in a pressurized position because we're not very good at managing time. So here's for instance, okay? You've got young children and they've got homework to do. Do they diligently go away and do their homework? Or are they on the PC, on the Game Boy, playing their games, watching Netflix, pushing homework off to one side until you turn around and say, you've got homework to do, television off, go to your room and do your homework. So what happens? Are they brilliant students and go and do the homework as without you telling them?
Not at all, Neville. In fact, they're not doing their homework, and the
You
teachers.
kept a straight face there, CK, and I was actually wondering what you were going to say. But no, they don't. And the thing is, they're making their own pressure. They know that they've got homework to do. And we all know what we've got to do. And in business, there's this, you can even buy these pads. And at the top it says to do list. And the list goes on and on and on and on. I'm sure you've had this from time to time, maybe in your career. And you keep writing things down. Then you flip the page and you write a few more things down. And then you think, well, I'm getting to the third page now. I'm not going to do that anymore. And you put it to one side. And that to do list ends up being a to do list. But when are you going to do it? And the thing is, the longer you put it off, the more pressure you're going to be under. If you, Here's a classic example. I mean, I know most people are in lockdown currently, but if you've got a Zoom meeting, okay, do you expect your clients to turn up slightly ahead of time or on time or late?
Well, my expectation is to all the people to turn up on time and and not definitely late. They should be on time.
Okay. So we're even in this digital world, okay, and we're in Zoom, and we've not had this discussion before, so this is an interesting one. Do people turn up late?
About 50% people turn up late, um,
So
but not
even
only.
even when it's Zoom and they haven't had traffic and they haven't had to negotiate, um, other people on the road, and they haven't had to time their train journey or get the flight or check in or leave their hotel on time, 50% don't turn up to a Zoom conference, digital conference on time. Interesting, isn't it? And I would think that's probably the same for most people. But immediately you put yourself under pressure because now you're late for that Zoom meeting. the likelihood is if you're a busy person like me and like you've allowed a certain amount of time. And if you're smart, you've allowed more time than you think it might need. But if you literally have got your appointments back to back, you're going to be under pressure because it's going to be coming up to the last 10 minutes of the conversation, and you know you've got to go in 10 minutes. But the thing is, it's really interesting where you are, and you haven't given yourself enough time to make that communication, that conversation count. So what happens? The likelihood is you run over. So you've run over the first, you've got late there, you've now run over this one, and let's say you run over this one by half an hour, and all of a sudden you're putting yourself under more pressure. Now, I don't believe anyone listening here is going to disagree with me, because most people are going to say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I do that all the time. So the point is, now what we need to do is to work out how not to work under pressure. In other words, don't put yourself under pressure. But when you are under pressure, how to cope with the pressure. So there's two different things we need to be working on. And if you're like a lot of people out there, when you get under pressure, your work declines. The quality of your work declines. Therefore, you're not putting in your best effort. There are a few people, and I'm one of them, that actually love working under pressure. I love working to tight deadlines. Not that I'm lazy, not that it's the only time I do my best work, but I can feel the adrenaline moving, you know? And you and I have been working on a few things over the last couple of years, CK, and you know that when we get to that, final point, we've given it our best, despite the fact we've worked up right up to the last minute. But the majority of people will not be able to give their best because the pressure will take over. You will feed the pressure, and you're constantly looking up at the clock. Am I running out of time? And while you're doing that, the brain's not being the best it is on the project you're currently working on. These are quite simple things, and I can see you smiling, and you're probably thinking of times when you did that, CK. But we all do it, don't we? We all time watch, oh, have I run out of time yet?
Yes, it's very funny that you mentioned to-do list, Neval, because this is exactly what happens to me, where you make a list and then you throw it out after a week because that to-do list is now stale. There are other things on the plate, including those which were listed on the to-do list. So now the list is much bigger. The pressure is mounting on. I think we all deal with that, and year on year, day by day, month on month, we actually handle this. So I think the important thing is your program, leadership program, has worked out a method of training people like us, whether you are a student or a chief executive, to help your brain fine tune so that you can handle the pressure. I think we would like to know more about that.
Well, the interesting thing is that handling pressure is different for everybody. And we've all got our own mechanisms. And it's a question of, do we know that we've got our own mechanisms? So if you actually say to someone, can you handle pressure? And they're in a real, what you perceive as a pressurized job, yes, they're obviously handling pressure, but they may not feel that way. They may be in this imposter syndrome arena where they don't believe they're handling pressure very well. The reality is they probably are, but they don't feel it because they're feeling under pressure. So this feeling you need to evaporate. You actually say, I've got this task, I'm going to spend this amount of time on it because that's what the budget says, basically. Well, that's what I can afford to spend on it, and I'm going to make the most of it in that particular time. That's being focused, being determined. And what that means is you need to take away all of the other distractions. And one of those could be that your mobile phone. You leave it, you leave the volume off, you switch the volume off, but actually you see it flash, you know. And if you're a really busy person, it flashes quite a lot, actually. You know, a WhatsApp message comes in, a Twitter feed comes in, an email comes in, a person's trying to contact you, that comes in. It will flash on your phone. That's what they're designed to do. It's supposed to help you manage your day. What it's actually doing, if you're in this pressure syndrome, is it's adding to your pressure, because it's immediately saying, I've got this and I've got this and I've got this to do. And what that means is, while you're thinking about, I've got this and this and this to do, you're not actually focused on what you're doing. Now, it's common sense, really. And the thing is, people don't know how to focus. But they do when you explain to them, what do you do? How do you do this? Where do you do it? How good are you at doing it here and there? And the whole purpose of a program is to help you explore who you are. Not who I am and not who you are, CK, but it's the individual going through the process. So they literally look in the mirror and say, who am I? And once they then literally create their own prescription as who they are. And the nice thing is, there's for every identification of your weaknesses, there's always a solution to improve a weakness. And that's the purpose of a coach, of a good program, as you call it. And that's what we do.
Fantastic, Neville. In fact, people who are watching this video, we just want to inform that this is a very ingenious way of handling things. And there are many aspects of leadership, and working under pressure is one of the key aspects, because every leader, every person who's actually working on a project need to have these qualities. So the MindFit, which is a world-renowned program for leadership, has this subject of how to work under pressure as one of the key areas of improvement included. So you can write to us. This is just a precursor. Please come and join the program. Write to me or write to Neville directly and know more about it. So Neville, you have anything else to add before we end?
Well, the world needs leaders, CK, as we've said many times before. We need people that can lead others, can get the best out of other people. And to do that, you've really got to get the best out of yourself first. So that's where we start. We look in the mirror. And if you really want to go and motivate yourself today, just type into Google or YouTube, one of your favorite songs about reflection. I love Michael Jackson's The Man in the Mirror. I think it's brilliant. I love the tone, I love the music. More importantly, I love the lyrics, because it says, if you want to make a change, take a look at yourself and change. So that's the whole purpose of being MindFit. Do it yourself first, and then you have the rite of passage, the operating license to go and help others. So it's pretty simple stuff, but it is, for a lot of people, it's going to be going back to basics, because we don't learn this at school. We don't learn this in the education arena. We make an assumption we learn it. When we network with other people, there is an assumption that we know how to communicate with other people. And if you notice, when you go to a networking meeting, some people are really good at networking. And then you put yourself under pressure because you say, well, they're really good at it and I'm not. It's this self-imposition, I'm no good. Well, yes, you are, actually. Everyone's a genius. It's just that they haven't found it yet. So it's a fascinating arena. And the more we can do with people around the world, the better the place will be. Simple as that.
Yes, Neville. In fact, MindFit program is a need of the hour, especially now, and especially in India. I think all of us and most of us who are in profession, in teaching, education, they should actually look at this program and join in. So, thank you very much, Neville, for joining us today. We will catch up with you again tomorrow with something more interesting.
See you tomorrow, CK. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the day.
Bye bye.